Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you the Daily SPY report for Tuesday, November 9th, 2021. Before I jump into the charts, please click like and subscribe. Subscribing to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel will provide you notification each and every time the Daily SPY report has been uploaded for your viewing, which typically occurs by around 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, Chicago, each and every trading day for the next trading day. Let's jump into the charts. Once again, starting with the big picture. We've got the long-term trend line that is over a year old now, began in late August, early September of 2020. We tested it in September. The market backed off, and we're right back at it again following a buy signal that occurred on October 14th above this channel structure at 436.67. We are now inside the 1% zone of reaching 472.87. With regard to big picture, longer term levels, as 472.87 is, I consider pushing merely into the 1% zone to be the beginning of the test. And we've pushed inside 1/2 of 1% last Friday. So we are in the midst of testing it, essentially. And from here, the SPY can fall off into later November, possibly through the balance of the year. But, and there's a big but there, both the DIA and IWM, as you're well aware, last week posted meaningful long-term buy signals. So there's a contradiction afoot, and we will see how this plays out. I'm not going to place bets on that right now, but I wouldn't be surprised while I'm at it if we do settle above 472.87 in the coming week or two. This assumes, of course, that the DIA and IWM will begin to follow through convincingly on their recent long-term buy signals. And that's all I'm going to say about that right now. I'm going to talk about the SPY exclusively here. 472.87 is our resistance and can contain weekly buying pressures, possibly into December. And from here, the market can grow tired now as we move into December trade. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, and you can see the same structure here, and the fact that there is a rising channel bottom near term. That was in the 464 handle yesterday, Monday. It's at 466.01 today. That is our support now into later week, or into midweek anyway. We could test that today quite easily, and if tested, can contain selling into later week. I don't want to say weekly selling pressures, really, because we have essentially tested 472.87, and there's a case to be made that 466.01 is now susceptible to violation. You're probably asking why 466.01 and not 464.56. Well, if you're not asking that, I am. That is that former channel top that I've been illustrating now for the last week. It is still a support level, but only minor. We go to the support and resistance area, and you can see how I've got 464.56 as just a minor point today. Now, here's the way it could play out. If we violate 466.01, 464.56 is likely intraday. I don't know if the market will continue much further south than that if we break 466.01. Who knows? But closing below 466.01 is the downward pivot through the rest of the week or into later week. I like 466.01 also because, it's not far off the low from last Friday's high. Last Friday was the move high. The low of the move high is a bit of a pivot point in and of itself, 466.92, and I do have that as a minor point today. But everything rests really on 466.01. Able to contain selling into later week. We could bottom out there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, perhaps rally back up to 472.87. But if we close below 466.01 today, good weekly high in my opinion, we should then over the next, depending on volatility, it could be a one-day event. It could take into later week, but I'm going to say a 1 to 3 day sell signal down to the 457.75 to 458.36 area. That is sort of a convergence right now between a rising 1/3 speed line and the rising channel bottom area. That zone, 457.75 to 458.36, if tested later this week, can absorb selling into next week. And from there, we can rally back up to 472.87 over the following week or two. And as I've been saying, we could trade inside that wedge, 472.87 ceiling to 457.75 floor, near-term floor, I must emphasize, all the way into later November, perhaps, for the next couple of weeks. That is certainly possible. But if we do close below 457.75, good November high, I would expect over the following 2 to 3 weeks this market to continue south to what is really an eventual convergence or intersection rather between a former channel top presently at 442.30 and a new rising channel bottom that is more meaningful at 435.88. That area all comes together the week of Thanksgiving in the upper 430s, and if we were to close, say, this week, any day this week, below the 457.75 area, we probably would reach that area over the next couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks into the week of Thanksgiving, where I might add this market, the SPY, could bottom out through the rest of the year in the upper 430s. But I'm way ahead of myself here. You know, you could say that holding below that 472.87 trend line does allow the upper 430s over the next month or so. And that's definitely clear, despite the fact that that's a contradiction with what's happening in the DIA and IWM. So the signal for that, the clarifier for that, for me, would be closing below the 457.75 channel bottom. And that pretty much is it for the downside. I'll show the support and resistance levels in a moment, but let's talk upside right now. We've got, you know, the 472.87 trend line, of course, and if we happen to close above it today, then the 480.37 steeply rising near-term channel top becomes increasingly more, rather than a 1 to 3 day target, more like 3 to 5 days. Let's zoom in here just a little bit and you can see that. In fact, I've beefed that up to a 2-star resistance level. 1 star for me can contain daily highs if I'm emphasizing it in the support and resistance column, but 2 star is kind of a 2 to 3 day high. So if we close above 472.87, I think a 3 to 5 day rally follow through up to the 480.37 formation would be likely, where we could top out on a 2 to 3 day basis, and you can see that clearly on the support and resistance area. So closing above 472.87 today, 2 to 3 day rally up to 3 to 5 day rally up to the 480.37 channel top, where we could top out for several days. But, you know, overall, closing above 472.87 would, in my opinion, align the SPY with the Dow DIA and the Russell 2000 IWM in terms of a longer-term buy signal to play out. The other shoe to drop, the final shoe to drop, of course, would be the triple Q. But if we were to close above 472.87, just looking at the SPY, I've got a 3 to 5 month target, as I've been mentioning, way above right now at 519.53, and I think that's realistic. That could contain annual buying pressures when tested. And on the way up, closing above 472.87, a quick 2 to 3 week target at 492.80, which is an intermediate channel structure on the daily chart that can contain at least weekly buying pressures. You know, if we were to close above 472.87, 492.80 in reach by the end of November, where we could top out at least on a weekly basis. From there, we could actually fall back to 472.87 over the following 2 or 3 weeks. We could trade inside that zone through the rest of the year, perhaps. And that's why I give it every bit of 3 to 5 months for the 519.53 objective if we were to close above 472.87. I'll leave you with the support and resistance levels today. Everything I've said is clearly outlined here. I might add, by the way, and I see that I neglected to, that holding above 466.01 will keep 472.87 in reach over the next 1 to 3 days. And on the way up, 471.19 can contain intraday buying pressures. That level, and I forgot exactly where it was yesterday, it was in the 470 handle. It's a trend line. We came close to testing it yesterday and then we backed off. The same could happen today, but if we push through 471.19, 472.87 is likely today. That is all that needs to be said, in my opinion, for Tuesday's Daily SPY report. I'll post another one tomorrow, each and every trading day. So I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great evening.